Jay. All right, we're live. Here we are, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're good. All right, look at that. There's Cherry Topp is here. Fantastic. The Cherry Topp is here, as well as Liz Lucky Albatross. See if I can say that. You know what? I haven't had this. That's the problem. I haven't had a drink yet, so I've got to reach back to my lucky chest here and get a drink. Welcome everybody. It's a bookcase, but I'm calling it a chest at this point because that's where I keep my hopes and my dreams. There it is. Thank you, Liz, for the extra visual on that one. Fantastic. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to everybody to the show. I see that you're tuning in. Hit like. Make sure you drop a note into the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. I'm gonna pour myself a drink. I'm getting. This is like the darkest color gin. That was a lot of the bottle gone, wasn't it? Up there when I started.
I think so.
Let's see how the night goes. Let's. Apparently, I'm going to be drinking for 3 tonight, but that's fine. Everybody has their own choices. Well, Liz is hitting the hard stuff, doing the Coke.
Caffeine.
Not unfortunately, it's not the powdery stuff. So it's which is a good healthy choice. All that. That was just the mix I'm putting in. Welcome everybody. Where is everybody? Usually people are chiming in already and saying hello. I've got the whole drink poured without anyone telling me cheers yet. So Slanche, here we are. We're having a drink.
Cheers.
So I am the Love Doctor. My fantastic guests here. We have Liz Lucky Albatross all the way. Watching from the web, we get the DIY Muggle guy who I believe... they won a sticker 2 weeks ago. Congratulations again on that DIY. I asked you for your address and you said it'll wait till we can see each other in person, which just kind of made me scared a little. I gotta say, all right, Captain Mike, welcome, Captain Mike. Slanche to Captain Mike. Here we are. You're gonna have me chugging before the first 10 minutes is out. You pricks. All this lovely. So Liz, who I met on the Poly forums on Reddit, is a contributor there and also to several FetLife groups. The fantastic Cherry Topp over here, Burlesque Prince now, a member of the Latino is it Latino or Latino Burlesque? Latino
Burlesque
Canada, which is the only Latino burlesque group in all of North America.
North America. Yes.
So yeah, it's take that, America.
Right here in Montreal.
Sad, but yay.
DIY Muggle guy. People still have 30 minutes before they are obligated to come back inside in Montreal. At least that's true. Well, the thing is, our part of our panel is outside of Philadelphia at this point in time. So we're international at this point. This is a fucking international show. We've got some questions are in the chat. I haven't actually even checked. For those of you who want to get your questions in, you can do it anonymously in advance by going right there. It's slido.com and the event code is TLD48. So you can ask your questions about love, sex, and relationships. And if you don't want to be shy, you can just drop them into the chat. That's fantastic as well. Here we are. This is, oh my goodness, this is deep breath. I've been talking a little too much. I don't want to get faint on this. Denis Leger with his little kitty cat picture has tuned in as well. Bienvenue, Denis Leger. I'm doing my best to try to improve my French, but it's not working. I've been trying. It's really fucking hard, is what I have to say. How have you been, Liz? Let's start. Let's talk a little bit about how everyone is. Liz, you mentioned that you had just worked on a course yesterday, was it?
Last week I did another course. It's a group in New York City called TESS, the Eulenspiegel Society, the oldest one still going in the United States. So for kink
could you
stuff.
say what that stands for again?
TESS is the Eulenspiegel Society. And they're kink and BDSM leather based. And I did a class on labels and how we can use labels to tell our own stories and not just have them used against us. So that was a really fun time.
It definitely sounds interesting. Cherry, how are you doing? Now, you're going to be part of the spring break telethon that is happening this Saturday, that 12-hour show. DIY Muggle Guy says, do not be afraid. Dear Love Doctor, confinement has yet to make me lose my mind completely. You're the only one, I think, because I'm gone fucking nuts.
Months
Back and
ago,
forths.
months ago.
Months ago. Months ago. So, Cherry, what else have you been up to in this time?
Actually, sorry, a little correction. I'm actually sad. I am not gonna be on the spring show this Saturday, but please check. It's just I
Oh,
took too long to send in my application, and I
uh,
guess
I
there's so many good artists that had already applied. So I was like, I missed my place, but it's okay. There will be more.
There
there will
always more.
definitely be
I will
more.
be on future ones, but I'm definitely going to be checking this Saturday, and everyone should be too.
Most
There
definitely,
is
they
a
should be.
great cast.
So for anyone that's looking, it's Telethon Production Spring Break. It's
Yes.
happening March 27th from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. And
Yes.
it's well. Oh, are you talking about the Latino Burlesque Canada? The artistic director of that group, or the director or producer of that group, Salty Margarita, is
Yes.
definitely
Southern
performing, because
Margarita.
I
Yes.
had the chance to work with them on their tech for the event, so they'll be there
Yes.
for sure. So
Yes.
there will be representation. Uh,
Yes. The one thing I am participating on is Sex Trivia by the. I'm gonna get the name wrong, and I apologize, but I believe it's the AIDS Community Center of Montreal, ACCM,
all right.
something like that. But it's sex trivia by the amazing Selma God, drag queen here from Montreal. It is tomorrow at night on Facebook and YouTube, I believe, and it's completely free. If you want to check, you can check my Instagram. I do have a link to the event right there, and you can go in and check how much you know about sex.
And
Ooh.
for that Instagram, it's right there. The Cherry
Yes.
Top with two P's on Instagram. So the Cherry Top on Instagram. Is it time? Do you think we're ready to get into the questions? There's not a lot of chat happening. I'm rather surprised. Everybody's been so quiet. Let's bring in the first question. Here, let's go with. We don't even have a lot of questions in the chat.
Ooh.
The first question we start at the bottom is: I have a weird rash on my thigh. Could you check it out for me? That one is actually the person in the hot seat. Is Liz? What is your
I'm
response?
not really qualified, but you should definitely go to a provider to get that checked out. You deserve that.
You deserve that. I agree with that one.
Well, it's in Canada, so it's a little bit easier. Just a
Right?
wait line. And
I can look at it, but I'm not able to prescribe anything to you for it. So even though I can look at it, you should actually go get an actual doctor to check it out for you.
and as far as like a low key hit on me kind of phrase, that's a little odd. Is what I'm going to say. But see a medical doctor. Is
Yeah.
my thoughts to you, or at least dial 811 if you don't want to risk going around people who potentially have COVID, and being
Yes.
in a full time big time hospital. The next full time big time question: what is full time big time hospital? That's it. Full time big time. Welcome to the full time big. We are in the full time big time at
Yes.
this point in time. I managed to say time 3 times in one sentence. Time
And it
and
made
again.
sense?
All right. Let's. Anyone keep track of that? I'm not sure. Let us know how many times I've said time in that time, please. We're going to the next question. Is being poly better than being monogamous? I'm in the hot seat first, and I'm gonna state right now. It depends. For different people, it's different things, and that's okay. As long as somebody's not trying to force somebody to be poly, or forcing somebody to be monogamous who feels that their nature is otherwise, then it is fine. If that's what's good for you, then that's what's good for you, and that's fine. But make sure that you have those discussions with your partner before you jump the gun and make any kind of assumptions in either direction. Liz.
No, it isn't. They're just dynamics. They're just different ways of connecting with people. I often like to say, polyamory is just the same as monogamy. You just don't stop when you get to one person. It's the same thing. So no, it is not better. It is just a different way to create your different dynamics and enjoy them together. And I hope everyone does have that wonderful joy. And the number of partners really isn't relevant. I'm still polyamorous when I am single. It's just who I am, and I don't even date people who aren't poly. You know, I don't feel it's compatible for us, and that way I don't have to worry about, oh, are they really comfortable with this, or are they just doing it to make me happy? I know we're all poly, and it's what we really want.
Cherry.
I agree with both of you. It's not necessarily better. It might be better for you or for this person or for that person, but it's not better than the other. It really depends on what you want and what the people around you want.
Boom. All the great answers is I'd have to agree. I do want to point out, before I ever heard of poly, I used to call it dating. And I would say, oh, I'm going on a date tonight. I'm dating somebody else. Everybody who I dated, I let them know that I was dating other people. It wasn't until I met somebody who asked me to be monogamous that I ended up being in a monogamous relationship. And it didn't last because even though I was faithful, they thought I was too flirty. And
Mm.
so it became toxic on that level. So still friends with that person because they were a very good person, and there was reasons there to be attracted, but there was a lot of reasons to not stay together as a couple, and that's okay. Having discussions as adults about your relationship and the status saves a lot of fucking pain.
Yes.
Saves a lot of fucking pain. We've got another question. I see a lot more people are coming in, trying to beat the curfew in Montreal. Welcome to the show. This is the Love Doctor live stream, and our next question. By the way, maybe I should leave this up down there just so people can see where to get your questions in. It sort of covers up the person in the bottom a little bit, but it's right there. It's slido.com. The event code is hashtag TLD48. See the other shoulder, Liz. That was nice try. Nice try to
I'll
be
get it. I'll
cool.
get it.
You'll get it. You'll get it. All right. The next question that we have there. Whoa, Cherry is getting like a little anxious to have somebody who wants a strong answer. So the next question: what are some keys to a successful relationship, in your opinion?
Oof.
Cherry, you have the hot seat.
Honesty. It's my first thing is honesty about everything in communication. That's pretty much it. As long as you're honest about your expectations to yourself and to the other person as well, you can go a long way. And you also need to be able to communicate that. So honesty and communication for sure.
Okay. Communication is definitely key. I definitely agree. Honesty, I'm going to disagree a little bit because you have to have a little bit of the little lies in there. Like they cook you a meal and it's dreadful. You can say it was nice. It's not my favorite, but it's nice. You know, maybe say that for the odd occasion and make sure that odd occasion never happens again. But those are the things. So you don't be brutally honest with the person. But make sure that you have good communication. And when you do need to be brutally honest, that it can be handled delicately and nicely. The other thing is trust. You need to have that trust with a person, and they need to have that trust with you. If you break that trust, then that breaks the relationship. Liz.
Oh man, you got the softballs right off on this one. I would say honesty, and I agree. Not brutal honesty. Nobody's asking for
Yeah.
brutal
No.
honesty to anyone. We are asking for compassionate honesty. You know, that
Yes.
compassionate. I would say, actually, didn't really love this bit. I love that you made it. I love that we ate it together, but I didn't really like this part, and I'd rather you do this next time. That's the honesty that I'm offering to people. So much of it is knowing yourself, your values, your priorities, your commitments, because you can't set expectations if you don't know those things about yourself. So really, the more you know yourself and the more you prioritize yourself and not compromising out those needs of fulfillment, the more success you're going to have.
Boom. And we've got a sláinte coming in from Galadriel Caress, the fantastic
Galadriel.
Galadriel. As other people are drinking, I'm the only one drinking alcohol. But you can be drinking out if you're drinking tonight. Just share with us
Excuse me.
what you're having in the chat. Okay. I think we sort of glossed over this a little bit because I said that you were an educator, but it's you're a kink educator.
Yes.
Yes, a kink educator. We didn't quite specify that at the time. And the burlesque prince, of course, just right up over my left shoulder, which is the right shoulder for everyone else that's watching. So the left shoulder, the fantastic.
That carries very well.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next question. Just what are some? Oh no, it's this question. How do you make sure that you're not making the wrong compromises with your partners? Ooh, how do you make sure you're not making the wrong compromises with your partners?
Aha. All right. First thing for me, don't compromise unless you need to. I know that goes against a lot of what a lot of people say. Relationships are compromise. You got to compromise. I don't agree. If you know your needs, which I already said, you have to know your values and priorities. If you know your needs, do not compromise them. Do not cut pieces of yourself down to fit into a box that you don't fit in already. So are there times you need to compromise, meaning give something up that you really do value? Sometimes, yes, you do, but make those as rare as possible and be as clear on what that means for you long term as you can.
Boom. Well said.
I agree. I agree with that. I was gonna put the words self-respect and boundaries onto that. You need to know, you need to have self-respect, respect for yourself, and you need to know your boundaries. Those you kind of discover along the way sometimes, but you need to know your boundaries and set them. And if compromising to something goes over your boundary and you just don't feel comfortable with it, it's a pretty good sign that it's just not a good thing. It's a wrong thing to do, and you should not do it, or at least communicate it, talk about it, and see if there is a happy medium, a middle ground that can be found.
Definitely. I definitely agree with both of you on that. I do want to kind of extrapolate. Extrapolate's a word. Yes, I'll say extrapolate.
Yes.
On there that in knowing yourself and knowing whatnot, you have to make the for what anything that you do compromise, you need to make sure that you're gaining enough in that compromise to make it worthwhile to you, and that's understanding yourself, because a compromise isn't totally giving in to whatever they want. That's not compromise. That is just weakening yourself. You need to make sure that if you have a relationship that is worth working on, that you are willing to have this give and take. It's not just them taking or just you taking as well.
Yeah.
You need to understand what your partner is losing and making sure that they're compensated for that. Unless you find the perfect relationship and you're just two puzzle pieces that fit together, like with suction cups and everything. There's what I don't know
Or
what that was
3
said
or
now.
4 or 5.
Or 3 or 4.
Yes. With the people that works, we get a comment coming in from DIY Muggle Guy that he's drinking Baltic Porter from McColson and St. Ambrose. So that is a porter. It's a beer that's from a local brewery here on the island of Montreal. That's a funny question. That's just is that the next question? Just going to make sure. Yes, it is the next question. Here we are. We all set. This sounds like a confession time. If you're willing to share, what's the weirdest place where you've had sex? I just immediately had that flashback to the dating game. There's like I don't know if it was a '70s episode or whatever, and Richard Dawson or whoever it was asked the question. Where's the weirdest place your husband said that you have ever had sex? And she kind of leaned forward. She's what? Oh, in the butt. But that was
Yes.
that was so. Nature is a wonderful place. There's so many places you can get to, on top of like a hill overlooking a burn field. It comes to mind on the side of a dirt road, and then we heard cars coming. Where else? There's a lot of weird places to have. You know, the Wiggle Room is not a weird place because to have sex. I just want to state that it has been nominated for year in year out. I know Cherry has a story about the Wiggle Room, obviously,
No.
but it's easily. I think in the past, I don't know about this year if it's going to be in the vote or not, but in the past like 6 or 7 years that it's been open, it's been in the top three of places for public sex in Montreal, according to Cult Montreal magazine.
I love that someone tracked that.
Yeah. So Liz,
Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't want to get anyone in trouble here, but I do have an excellent answer to this question. It was a NASA facility in near Washington, D.C. It was part of a group of people doing like science hobby stuff, and we had a lock-in overnight. And you get a bunch of teenagers together, and that tends to happen. So it was my first threesome with two other amazing men, completely spontaneous, completely ridiculously wrong of us to be doing in the rain. But we were really, really horny, and we were there, and we had a great, sexy time in NASA outside DC. So there you go. That's my funnest story.
there's a shout out to Goddard at this point in time.
I did not say that name. No, no, no.
I did because I didn't know what other places.
I'm just saying, I never said that.
You never said that. I just had a friend who just gave notice at Goddard.
Cool.
Because they want to work on the South Pole, which sounds like sexier than it really
It
is.
does. Penguins, I guess. I don't know.
Cherry.
Mine, I have two. One is a bit cliche, I guess, but for me,
The
was
Wiggle Room. All right.
interesting. No, it was just behind a church. It's kind of cliche, but
Very
it was-
nice. Classic.
it was kind of a very, very busy street, and it was
God.
just the fact that there was no light right where we were, so we were in complete pitch black, and no one could see us from the road. So that was interesting. I don't know if you're weird, but interesting. And the other one was at a friend's house with everyone inside of the house, and me and my partner at the time went on the outside. There was a shower outside, and we did it right there in front of the window of the kitchen where everybody was having breakfast.
Morning sex. All right.
Well, you couldn't quite see in through the window there. You know what, you mentioning the church, like just because where I grew up, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but graveyards were like, that was a nice kind of wild outdoor place. I hadn't had sex, but I did a serious amount of making out in a graveyard. And I did well, probably the reason
with
I'm not a
live
priest.
people.
With live people, specify the live people.
I mean, it's a lot of work and effort if you're going for the other kind of people.
Sure,
So that's impressive on its own level.
You get some killer pecs, though. You like the workout. You just get very muscular. I did debauch a nun, but it didn't happen at a church. Well, she wasn't a nun yet, but after that weekend, you couldn't call her a novice. But it was at her place where she was getting her master's in divinity. I know there's a joke about something in masters in that, but we'll leave that alone.
You gave her the full rosary, is what it is.
The full. You know what? I was very drunk at the time. And she initiated. Actually, her mother got me drunk to make it kind of happen because she knew her daughter had doubts. Which is all right. Now this has gone from like I've just given a joke to become a little bit of a true confession.
Talk to us, TLD. Talk to us.
Let
it all out.
She's married now with a husband and several children. So obviously, it was a good thing that she didn't move ahead and leave part of herself cut off that she didn't want to have cut off. Galadriel is saying that she's drinking a lovely whiskey from the North of Seven Distillery in Ottawa. Misty Portugal, welcome, Misty. But do we think people are actually having sex in the Wiggle Room or just saying they are? There's one person who's, I'm surprised they haven't chimed in here yet, but he claims you can have sex with 3 people is what we say at the Wigger Room. You can have sex with 3 people in the bathrooms. They're big enough for 3. And he says that they're big enough for one person to have sex 3 times. So I'm surprised, Christopher. That's his big chime in. I haven't heard that yet. Denny Leger is drinking mocha coffee and eating chips because it's the health food of champions on this. Whatever is making everybody happy at this point. This is what we need, is everyone to work on their own personal happiness. That way, when you meet somebody, you're going to be more open. You're not going to be clingy, hoping for them to make you happy. Did I just come out with advice that was just unprompted without a question? Just a little.
Like I always say, you don't want someone. You want a one. You want a connection. And when people just go like, oh, I want someone, I'm like, well, that's who you're going to get. You're just going to get someone. And that's not going to do you.
Well, they'll do you, but it's...
Yeah. Even then, it's usually like, nah.
All right. The next question. Here we are. Oh, this one's specifically for you. It's good that you're in the hot seat, Cherry. So Cherry Topp, where did you obtain your beautiful whip? Where did you obtain your beautiful whip? If you can also show it off to the audience as well.
It's roses. It is. I forgot the name of the place. It's here in Montreal. Opal Black, I believe. And Opal Black is the name of the artist, but there is her store by Opal something as well. I actually won as blind. What's the name? My
Auction?
English fails me. Auction. Yes. And I forgot the name. I will look it up as we go, but it's Opal something. It's here in Montreal. They make their leather stuff. It's pretty good quality.
It is. I love those because you've
beautiful.
got the thick ends that really nice give a thud, but then you've got the thin strand that can get you that stingy. It's really versatile.
It's good.
Very detailed.
Tried and tested. It's good.
You could do that for a half hour, really.
Can I?
I'm okay with it. I'm not.
Will we be blocked by YouTube again?
I'm hoping not. They have it. The other one was all right. Was that the last time you were on, Cherry?
Yes, with Lusty. No, with Wild. With Wild Delilah.
Wild Delilah. All right. I'm just going to read this question from Misty Portico, or this comment from Misty. Misty has ate their fill of cheesies and chips, and now I'm drinking Claire Obscure from Archibald. It's a Schwarz beer lager noir fumé. Also, hey, a nice whip. Nice whip. All right. The last time that Cherry was on, I gave very detailed description in the YouTube channel, and it was episode either in the late 30s or early 40s, and there was we got banned from YouTube. It got taken down from YouTube, and I challenged it because the show hadn't even aired yet. It was only based on the description, and we were already well over 30 episodes in, and they came back and they apologized, and I took a look. The only thing that was really kind of different was Cherry was, forgive the this is not meant as a pun, was very out about the fact of being LGBTQ plus member of society, and I almost feel like either the algorithm searched for it, or they do have these community members who search through things to say it's not up to community standards, and somebody was targeting the LGBTQ people of society and challenging it on YouTube. They fully reinstated and apologized, and we were able to get the show done. And so rather than having them ban it before it actually even happened. So that goes to you people. You people are our society. So you people make sure that your standards are heard. Make sure you hit like on all of this. We've got Denny Leger saying he's super sexy. He came with his own whip. I call it a tail. Misty Portico, ha ha ha, meow. I think there might be a delay in some of these stories going out, but it's there's all that. So make sure that you hit like. Make sure that you're supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Our next goal is to get at 100. We had a $70 gift package went out to one of our winners when we hit the first 50 subscribers goal, and we're going to have another sticker give out. Ev Lit, one of the regulars, actually won it last week, so people can get their sticker on with a big ass. I almost call it a big ass, but it's not quite a big ass. But it's actually rather tiny. It's maybe like a small cheek. It's a small cheek sticker. It's too big to be used. That's what it was. That was the discussion. Somebody had mentioned about using these as pasties, but like, look at that. That's huge. As
For
a
me,
pasty. Like,
maybe I don't know.
it all depends on areola size. Like look at that.
I love that.
That's like
That's
look.
perfect.
How much of my face is covered with that? That's pressed right up against my face.
Nobody's looking at your face right now. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no,
It would be really big. Yeah,
yeah, that
would be extremely too big.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking you just enjoy kind of slapping your tit on
Also, yes.
Yes.
Why wouldn't I?
I know.
True taken. Oh, Mr. Portugal, speaking about relationships, because that's what this show is partially about. Tell me what places online dating apps you're all using to meet people now. I feel so behind, and I want to know what people are enjoying. Cherry, are you using any online dating apps at this time?
As a gay identifying man, there is Grindr, there is Scruff, which are kind of the two biggest ones. They don't support this channel. They should support this channel. Now that I said your names, support this channel. You should give me money for this. There is also Hornet. I don't use it very much. And every now and then there is Tinder as well, which should all be giving us money right now. for free advertising.
There's of course I've not been getting outside much. Tinder, of course, everyone knows. Bumble, everyone kind of knows. That one has the benefit that only women can message first. For those in het life. I don't know if it has a opponent that is lesbian friendly or not. A component, not an opponent. There is also what's it called? Somebody just mentioned
Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of Fish. OkCupid.
OkCupid.
All of those. OkCupid was actually how I met my last partner, was because of the quizzes. There is Pure. That's a newer one, but it's Russian. Yeah. I don't think it has the same problem as TikTok has, but it is. But it's it has, what is it? What they say? It's voice. You can do voice messages back and forth, which means it's more hands free than some of the others, and it seems more designed for people who are sexting than people who are meeting up. Liz.
Call me a Luddite. I do not do online dating. I'm online all the time, usually on the Reddit or the FetLife or the discussion boards. I meet people, friends of friends. I go to a lot of weekend events where I can really meet a lot of people who've come from out of town all at once and have fun with them and get to know them that way. So that is my preferred method. I do understand that I probably have some privilege on that to open the door and close the door as I want, probably. I have heard good things about OkCupid in terms of kinky poly crossover being a good place for that, especially if you get the paid version. That's a lot of good features you can get. And there is an open poly app. It's called Open, but the problem is people aren't using it enough yet, so it hasn't reached critical mass. But it is out there, and I recommend it.
There we are. There's some dating meeting. Just a sec. What? Meet people. So it's meeting apps that you're looking for, Misty. So those are plenty of options, all of which that Cherry has mentioned should be paying us, so fuckers.
Full disclosure, I actually got married out of Tinder.
What? Really?
But then I'm also getting divorced. So
that's okay.
There we are. Well, we only have one more question left on the anonymous chat, so please go to the slido.com and start filling in more questions or giving us your questions here in chat, like Misty has so thankfully done. A big thank you to Misty Portugal for that. Let's see. Do you have any? Oh, the next question here it is coming up to the screen. Do you have any toy recommendations? What do you enjoy playing with? Liz, you are in the hot seat.
Oh my goodness, such a great big question. But I must go with my classic, which is wax for wax play. Mostly because all of the elements to it are so easily found. I like using a mix of paraffin wax and the tall church candles, as we call them down here. Get paintbrushes, get ladles that you use for soup to just pour the wax. Do a body oil massage before you start anything so that the oil doesn't stick to the hair when you pull it off. You can do a 3-hour amazing scene just with putting wax on, taking wax off, getting the skin super sensitive, and then you pour baby powder on it afterwards, and it's ultra sensitized, and it just feels like a shower of rose petals falling all over you. So it really helps, and it's for a range of sensations. If you are like me, not really a masochist, it's just sensation and massaging and deliciousness. If you want to bring the heat and hit those nerve centers, you can do that too. So wax is definitely my go-to.
There we are. Oh, all right. I think be still, Cherry's heart.
I'm recovering from that answer. Just a moment.
Well,
floggers, maybe?
I love me some impact play. So floggers, paddles. I also like scratchers. There's those dents thing that you roll, and there's actually some nails as well. So they do some really good scratching. I like those sort of sensations.
Nice.
I impact play is I'm a fan as well. I do want to point out with wax, it's also you have the dichotomy if you're also using ice to go from the heat to the ice.
I hate cold, but yes.
You hate cold. For some people it is.
That's why I didn't mention it, but you're absolutely right.
Daphne Etienne is saying hi with lots of musical notes. Fantastic performer as well. The thing is too is also compared to when I was young, there's so much better advice that you can get online, education that you can get online. Because the first time you play with wax and you play with the wrong type of wax, you don't give it enough height, you can actually kind of burn yourself. So make sure that you're using the proper level of height, a distance away from the body, as well as the proper type of wax, because you don't want to get something that's going to be sticky and burn the skin unnecessarily. So as any time with any toys, play safe. And if I can really, this toy doesn't need any kind of advertising, but the Hitachi wand can be used. It can. The thing is, I have met partners who just think it only can be used one way, and there's so many different ways that you can fucking use the Hitachi wand. Explore. Like, it doesn't even need to be touching your skin. If you have something inserted, if you have something against you, and then you press the wand against that in itself. For men who think that the Hitachi wand isn't going to be for them because maybe they're not into to having their butts played with, the idea of the wand head against your frenulum is an amazing sensation. There's so many fantastic ways to use that toy that don't be shy. That's gonna. I don't know if anyone's tuning into this show that is actually really shy, but it's.
I am shy. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert's introvert. I turn it on, and then after this, I will get my shower in PJs and not talk to anyone for a day.
I'm also very shy.
As I'm doing the anti-shy drug right now. No, it's you don't want to make sure that you never rely on alcohol, because alcohol empowers judgment, and it never. Here's one of the things that we're waiting for some more questions to come in. So please write your questions down. Go to slido.com and put them in if you want to be shy. But I have to state, alcohol. A drunk person cannot consent to sex. That's an end all be all. Yes, but if you're out with somebody and you meet with somebody and they ask you to go home with them and they're impaired, you can still say yes, but make sure nothing happens till the morning, because in the morning they're sober at this point in time and they've shown the interest and you've shown the interest and you've shown the respect. So
Yes.
that is Galadriel saying Cherry Top demonstrating my brand of shy, most definitely. So
I'm gonna
please,
rewatch this podcast just to watch what Cherry Top did again.
I might have to put an Instagram story. One of the bad things I do is I'm not been putting up Instagram stories of scenes from these shows, and I really think that one probably will give me a lot of likes or my Instagram
Yeah.
banned. One of those two.
Just something like,
Yeah, we're there for that.
are you subscribing?
Mm.
Because you should.
So
For
it's
more-
also
For more
right
of
down-
this.
don't forget to donate to the channel, support the channel. It's right there on the bottom. Look at that bouquet of flowers. Just yeah, yes. Liz is not even looking at the flowers anymore. It's there we are. Well,
I can see why he's the prince. Totally.
we have a
Also,
new question. Yes, go for it.
if I may add, I did find the name of the place. It's called Au Palace, Montreal.
Palace,
and
Montreal.
yeah, people there are the ones who make this.
Cool.
And it's also a dungeon. So if you want to play, they have a good space there.
Perfect. So it is a play space, but it is currently closed, I imagine, because of
Yes.
everything
Yes.
else. Yes. I'm just looking something up. All right. So we have a new question has come in. Any advice on how to stay safe and how to find safe people in the community as someone who is new to the BDSM kink world?
Welcome.
That is welcome to the thing. And again, well, we're gonna go. Actually, the hot seat is Cherry. Cherry, you're in the hot seat.
Yay. Well, right now it's a little bit hard because bars and places where people can gather are closed. However, there are actually a lot of groups online on Facebook. You can try to start there. Ask a friend if you know there is a friend of yours that kind of is into kink stuff. Maybe try to ask somebody you know who is already part of that community where you could, get your way in. But there are groups you can find them on Facebook as well. I would go with that.
Facebook is been suggested. Liz.
I'll go with online too first because that's just where we are still.
Yeah.
I mentioned Tess, the Eulenspiegel Society earlier, and I like them not just because they're quality, but they're free. So every week you could really connect with a bunch of people. Now, a lot of them are New York, but a lot of them are elsewhere. But that's a good way to understand the questions that people are asking and get yourself educated, get to know what people are calling themselves, and just acquainted. Since we're still stuck inside, take advantage of that time. Once we do get more personal, my advice is go very slowly in terms of commitment. And that means even at a play party, please don't play 3 scenes your first play party and expect to be fine the next day. Learn about aftercare, learn about your body chemistry and how that's going to work. It is some trial and error, absolutely. That is kind of how it is on somewhat. But the slower you go in terms of making a commitment with someone, the more you'll have really judged whether it's a good fit for yourself. So please, again, I mentioned don't look for someone, look for a right one for you. And that applies doubly for here. Don't look for a top or a sub. Look for someone you really connect with and then you can grow together.
Boom. Very well said. If anything, if I was to add to that, is be very cautious in meeting and making sure that you're protected. Make sure that you are telling other people that you're going to meet, even though you're a little bit, you might not, if you're new to it and you're you're shy and you don't want certain people in your circles to know what you're into, you could just tell them that you're meeting someone new and who they are without saying how you met, etc. And at the same point, suggest to the person that you're meeting that they do the same as well. And that kind of shows a level of trust, and they also makes them aware that you're doing it too, because personal safety at this time. I if I I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna bring this up. All right, there was the Atlanta shooting, of course, but there have been 7 murders in Quebec of women by by men that they've been dating this year alone, which is up from the previous year by this point. So femicide is a real thing, and we need to. And it's I know more than women do get murdered, but the thing is, we need to make sure that we are protecting everybody in society. That is what a society is for. So please, I'm not putting the onus on women to protect themselves, but at the same time, it's automatically should be understood that I'm saying don't fucking murder people. Uh, it's, I'm just the things that have been happening in this world, like the woman who was abducted and killed in London by a metropolitan police officer, and the fact that the cops were going around while it was still being investigated and telling women to stay home because it wasn't safe, or when we had the taxi rapist here in Montreal, and the chief of police was saying, "Well, just don't take taxis." Like, these are not logical answers to the situation. People should be kind to each other. I'm a little bit upset, and I haven't drank enough to get upset to that level. So these are things that upset me, and I think they upset everybody who's watching. I'm getting very serious at this point. I know that this is a light show that is about fun, and I've accidentally covered up Cherry's bear's face with a little shamrock, so I'll take that off so we can get the little happy smiling bear in there as well. But at this
Yeah.
time, at this time, we want everyone to be safe. So first off, make sure that you are safe,
It's
or
true.
only being whipped in the way that you'd like to be whipped, etc. But at the same time, make sure that the people around you are aware what they can be doing for their safety as well. And that's why I said, even if you're beginning to meet somebody new, tell the people that you know and trust that you're doing it, and it doesn't matter what gender you are, and tell the person that you're meeting that, hey, I'm telling some of my friends that I'm coming to meet you. I do recommend that you tell some of your friends that you're coming to meet me as well. We don't have to tell them where we met or whatever, or what our joint interests are, but at least make sure that you are covered, and encourage the person or people that you're meeting to be covered as well. All right. Sometimes you need to be serious. That's why. Oh, thank you, Misty. That's why we love you. And I love you all. That's why I fucking do this. It's because I want everyone to be safe. I want everybody to be happy in exploring pleasure.
And
So,
I'd add to that, since we talked about like apps where
mm,
you can meet people. Not right now, because you shouldn't be meeting people in person at this point just yet. But as someone who is on social apps to eventually potentially meet someone, there's a lot of people who ask where do you live? Not of your concern right now, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know you. I am not telling you where I live within 3 lines of text. What's your name? What are you doing in life? What are your hobbies? There's no where do you live? Not none of your business just yet.
I live in a city
You
of
know?
3 million people, so I'm okay with saying Montreal. That's
Yeah,
something you can say. All right, but
yeah,
you're not going to give somebody an address or a neighborhood or whatever in that
yeah,
time period. Again, yeah, it's being smart. Even as much as charming as some people can be online, you don't need to make that much of a connection with them,
yeah,
or be that open about your life to them that quickly. And it comes down to being safe, because you want to be safe. Like, there was all right, I live on Earth. Tim
Amazon.
Roquette is say there was back in the 80s there was a female British comic, and I wish I could remember her name at this point in time, but she had this brilliant joke. She's saying because it was during the AIDS crisis, and she said, look, the entire advertising thing about AIDS and wearing condoms, etc., is being done wrong, right? They're telling people, wear condoms so you don't get AIDS. What they should say is wear condoms so you can continue to fuck for another 20, 30 years. Right? That's a far better message. And the same thing comes down to your safety in the modern dating world. Because we have newer challenges, but it's still the same old problems. And we need to be moving ahead as a species in protecting each other in these cases. There was also a person who I knew in Toronto who caught COVID, but they had been going out and they had been using Tinder and one of the other dating things, and they were just kind of random hookups, and the people apparently knew that they were random hookups, so they would end up deleting each other afterwards. But that meant that when he tested positive for COVID, he could not contact the people that he had been with.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of the show I May Destroy You. I believe it's on Hulu. And that is actually one of the plots that they deal with is someone had that problem of they had a hookup, it went very badly, but then everyone deleted themselves. So how do you deal with that? So it's a very difficult show, but a very great, important show.
Boom. So again, being safe. And we're still waiting for some new questions to come in. Cherry, is there anything that you want to talk about at this juncture? Oh, well, holy crap, we've been on for almost an hour already.
Well, I also really want to say, I mentioned before, nobody wants brutal honesty. Brutal screening is actually advised. You screen people brutally. I agree with don't give your location for the first 3 dates even. Vet, be brutal. We are adults. We're holding ourselves to the highest standards. Yes, we're all growing and learning, but it's not your job to teach someone how to be proper to you. If they aren't, then they aren't, and you move on.
Boom. Definitely.
Boom.
Cherry, do you
I
have
just want to
anything
say, send us some questions. We're
Yes.
just here waiting for it.
Yes, kinks. I love talking about my kinks. I love talking about relationships. I love talking about myself.
Send in those questions.
So yeah,
We're waiting.
I should. You know what? If I'm telling people that they should be sending in the questions, but I didn't put the Slido code up. So the Slido code is there now that we have everyone's attention. Slido with the event code TLD48. So Slido or Slido.com, either of those works. So you can send in your questions this time. Whew. All right. We're getting a little hot under the collar on that one. I'm glad that I have the ice in there. By the way, I've messaged the people who make the wonderful gin that I tend to drink, and they have still yet to sponsor me.
To whip the bear. I don't know. Is the bear naughty? Does he deserve it? I don't know.
I can.
You can actually look on let's bring this up again. Cherry Topp on Instagram. You get to see the bear in action.
Remember to like and subscribe. Remember to like and subscribe.
Evlit is saying, "Okay, Cherry Topp, how often do you whip the bear?" That's the question that we just received. How often do you whip the bear? By the way, congratulations again to Evlit. Ev, did you receive the package that I sent you? If you can let us know.
As often as I want.
And one of the best vlogging classes I ever took was a person named Lolita Wolf, also from New York. And she gave a great class because I noticed your technique, Cherry. And she really likened it to playing tennis, how you really want to use the same sort of muscles and follow through, like when you're playing tennis, so you don't tire out your wrist. So good form.
Wonderful.
And Ev did receive the package. Great. I hope you post some pictures of wherever you put that sticker. Maybe not, Ev. I'm not sure where you put the sticker, but if you put the sticker on a place that is photographical, that you can photograph and post online.
Photogenic.
We'll trust that Ev is photogenic enough. And we have a question that has come in at this point in time. Probably shouldn't have said come. How might someone introduce
What?
kink into an existing vanilla relationship?
Ooh.
And that
Ooh.
is a very good question. Cherry Top, you are in the seat. Hot seat. Ev, go, no problem.
Slowly, carefully, within everybody's limits, with a lot of talking and a lot of listening, most of all. But yeah, start. It depends what kink you want to try first. Do you want to try impact play? Do you want to try wax play? Just make sure that whatever it is that you want to try, do it slowly and communicate.
Boom. You mirrored a lot of things I was thinking. Communication is key. When you said listening, that is true. A lot of people do not listen well. So it's not just for listening for how they respond, but listening to what gaps they have in their responses. Because you want to make sure that they're comfortable and they're not just saying something to make you happy. Liz.
Yeah, great question. Know that it is a risk. Just to bring the topic up, it is. I do worry in today's modern world with so much porn and so much out there about accessing everything. People forget a lot of people really are vanilla. They really are monogamous. They really want that, and that is amazing and beautiful. And that needs to be honored. So if you've created a vanilla commitment, you are taking the risk that you just won't be compatible anymore, and you have to own that for yourself when you push that out to someone else. So do your research beforehand, have some idea of the questions that you're likely to get, have some idea of the changes that you want to make in this relationship, because that's what you're asking to do, is to change the fundamentals. TLD mentioned before about knowing the safety risks just of one type of kink. You're talking about an entire relationship structure and maybe many types of kinks. It's not just heartbreak, we're talking physical risks that could really have an impact, on long-term things. So take ownership of that responsibility of the risk that you're really taking and bringing in. And then, as Cherry said, time. You're looking at least 6 months of just talking, of just watching podcasts, of reading the books, do your homework, and you'll get out of it as much as you can.
Doing the homework together is brilliant, and never bring up the idea in the heat of the moment. That is key, because some things sound really good when you're horny, but you don't want to agree to them right at that moment without doing the proper prep work first.
Yeah, never trust the endorphin brain.
No. And also don't trust 50 Shades of Grey. That is a terrible place to start. Terrible place to start.
And never trust alcohol brain as well, spoken
Also,
from
yes.
experience. There we are. I did debauch a nun. If you could give sex advice to a younger version of yourself, what would it be? What would that be? Liz, you are in the hot seat.
Don't settle. Don't settle for mediocre sex. If you don't want it, don't have it. It's much better to cuddle and enjoy a night together than to try to push for sex that's not going to be that great. Never settle. Never just give in and just be like, okay, which is different from, I'm not sure if I'm in the mood. We can try something and see if I get in the mood. It is, I'm not in the mood, but okay, don't do that. Don't ever settle. Only do it when you really want to do it.
Sorry. What advice would you give the younger version of yourself?
Buy the flogger soon.
For also, yes. Use more lube.
I mean, yeah, everybody.
Oh, that may be too honest, but yes, I'm very happy.
Use more lube.
Very practical.
Just don't be shy about it. Just go reach for the bottle and go for it.
Hmm.
All right. If I could give sex advice to a younger version of myself, I'm of two minds right now. The first mind is to tell myself that more people find you attractive than you think, and the second thing is say nothing, because I wouldn't be the person I am here today if I didn't live the life experiences that I lived in the past, and I don't know if I want to change that younger person and possibly turn out to be a worse person because of it. Because I sort of like me now, and I'm okay with who I am. And if I go back and muck with that little bit of chemistry and give myself advice, even if I didn't follow it, would I still be the same person I am here and now? And that's the problem with fucking time travel. It's never put a time travel like. All right, it's like all right. Doctor Who's fun, but he never doubles back on himself. Well, he does occasionally, but that's usually the worst shows. Um, that is my take on that. We've got another question has come in. Um, I never saw 50 Shades of Grey. Is it realistic? And the answer is no. All right,
No.
Liz.
No. No.
Nope. Nope.
All right, can we at least explain what 50 Shades of Grey is? It's bad slash fiction from Twilight. That's what it is. It was somebody who was writing Twilight fan fiction and wanted to make a sexier version of it. And Captain Mike is saying, love Dr. Butterfly Effect. Definitely the Butterfly Effect, which is an underrated film. Sorry, Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
I enjoyed that.
It was a good movie.
It is good.
It's a very good movie.
I think a lot of people, it just hurt their brain a little bit too much. And we picked up a like by saying that the Butterfly Effect was a good movie. That is.
Like and subscribe.
Please make sure you're liking and subscribing. It's like only 1/3 of the people who've been watching this show have managed to like the post here tonight. So please make sure that you do like. Make sure that you are subscribing to the YouTube channel for the Love Doctor. It's right down, running along the bottom, just below Liz's tits at this point in time. It says donate to the Love Doctor's the link tree. Go to there. The first button there says buy me a drink. You buy a drink. That money gets all split between all the. Didn't mean to trigger anyone who's a child of divorce, but we all that money gets divided among all three performers who are here tonight. So please make sure that you donate, support this channel, and support us going forward. I understand a lot of people are getting a lot less work at this point in time. We're getting a lot less work. So please make sure that you are, if you cannot financially support, make sure you're pressing that like, because that in its way is a support for something that you're enjoying, and it kind of helps show the masses that this is something that's worthwhile and that we like to see and hear. We've been on air for over an hour. Do we have any last questions? Do you two have anything that you want to mention? Liz, do you have any classes coming up? I know that you taught a class last week. Do you have any classes coming up that you want to recommend to people?
Not recently. I mentioned Tess a few times. Wicked Grounds is based in San Francisco. They also have amazing classes, but they are pay. I'm looking forward to possibly this summer. There's another hypno conference because I do hypnosis, sexy fun. So hopefully there'll be some fun times with that, but that's all on the horizon. I would want to add, I get why people love 50 Shades. I really do. The fantasy of it, the passivity of it, the being completely taken care of and seduced action. Wonderful fiction. Should never be what you do in real life.
It's very toxic. It's very
Yes.
toxic. The way it's presented, it's very toxic. And that's why it's a bad representation of it.
To me, it's like people who watch Harry Potter and think that they can take a broom up onto the roof and jump off. All right, that's not how you do it. Like even if you watch Harry Potter, most of the time, most of the people get on the broom on the ground and take off. It's just 50 Shades never shows the people on the ground, and that's what's problematic with it. Fine, it's a fantasy; it can be entertaining. It was a very glossy film, but it doesn't handle respect in a relationship well, and respect is essential to a relationship. Even if you have a partner who's into degradation, kink, you still need to respect them. That was heavy. I don't know if people are going to give me letters for saying that.
No, that was correct.
Correct. It's correct. There we go. Yeah, Captain Mike, the Love Doctor Butterfly Effect. That is, I think, the final word that we're going to. Oh, hold it. There, we have a new question has just popped in. Do we have time? We're going to do it. We're going to pop this out. We're going to do that. We're going to make sure. Yeah, we're going to. All right. In case any more other questions come in, we're going to keep going as long as we get questions. The next question that we have, and I don't know why, I just automatically started being an auctioneer. But this question is: what percentage of men's attractive value do women attribute to his body or physical appearance? That is the question. Cherry, the ever shy Cherry. Ever shy. Oh, ever shy. That's a good burlesque name.
Ever shy. Yes.
Hugh Ever shy. Hugh
Cute.
Ever shy. Would that be? No,
Q ever shy. Q, as in the letter Q. Ever shy.
No, because QAnon has ruined the letter Q. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I
True.
was thinking Hugh. Hugh as in like
Oh,
Hugh.
Yeah.
Hugh Evershy,
Nice.
which would be a boylesque name. But all right, Cherry.
Every time he comes on stage, he's monochromatic.
Oh, the hue, as in hue colors. Oh, boom. And have rainbow pasties and G-string on the bottom.
Yes. What part?
What percentage of men's attractive value do women attribute to his body or physical appearance?
Personally, does everybody like an attractive body? Yes. Personally, myself, I actually don't look at that first. But if we put it in percentages, I think I would put 20% myself. I would put 20%. Like, I just want somebody to be healthy. They don't have to have a 6-pack or an 8-pack. You can be a little bit bigger. You can be a little bit smaller. I'd be more interested that you're healthy, whatever way your physical appearance is. So I'd say maybe 20%, because I would still look at. I do have a thing for great smiles. So if you have a great smile, that's like 50% to me. I'm already taken. And then after, the rest will be personality. Are you someone? I am actually very shy. I'm terrible at small talk. So if you're someone I can have a conversation with, like the conversation just bounces. For me, as someone who has a difficulty having small talk, that is already another great part of how important I will consider you to be. So physical appearance will be at the very bottom, to me personally.
We've got Christopher Murtaugh has just dropped in to say Solange. So having a drink, very quickly saying hello here. Still working sadly. Oh, I'm sorry, Christopher. Hope you guys are having fun. We are definitely trying to have fun. Thank you very much, Christopher. Having a drink. All right. The question being, what percentage of men's attractive value do women attribute to the body or physical nature? I will have to stay. It very much depends on what the woman is looking for. If they're just looking for a bounce, and it also depends on what they find attractive. Like some women like bigger, hairy men, other like thin men. I think it is a factor for most everybody that there has to be a physical attraction, but what that physical attraction is can be defined several different ways, almost probably as many ways as there are people, to be honest. And the thing is also what they're hoping to have in the relationship, be it just a fun hour, or if it's going to be a longer thing. So thankfully, I'm going to say thankfully, women. On my behalf, women. There's been a number of women who've been kind enough to be looking for personality. Cheers, thanks. We appreciate it.
We talked about online dating a lot, and Online dating, it matters a lot. And not necessarily a subjective physical appearance, but the effort. And it's amazing to me how low effort so many of those pictures are. So, putting in the effort, showing the framing, it is very often recommended in our discussion forums. Have someone take a professional photo set. There's a lot of pros out there who will do sets for you pretty cheaply. And it's worth it, not only just because you deserve some good photos, but just putting yourself out there in a very presentable way is really big if you're doing online dating. Beyond that, it changes quite a lot. I look at someone like you guys and they're like, oh, these are really good looking people. And then I immediately ask, would I want to have dinner with them? Would I want to spend a weekend hanging out with them? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's no. And that's really where you get into what matters. In polyamory, there's terms that we use called new relationship energy, which is like the
NRE.
in love, honeymoon, happy, everything is perfect thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have old relationship energy or renewing relationship energy, which is that cozy comfort PJs on Sunday morning that you just enjoy being together. And we're all going to get older. We're all going to change our bodies. I'm finding this out that your body keeps changing even into middle age and beyond. And to me, for that, while of course I'm still going to have chemistry and attractiveness to people, it really does come out in who you are and the compassion and love and connection that you've built.
I'm going to create a bit of a follow up to this. How important is a sense of humor? So, Liz, you're in the hot seat to start that one off.
All right. Being funny is extraordinarily important, but a lot of people think they're funny and they're not.
Ouch! I've been hurt. I've been hurt. Wounded, critically wounded. Cherry.
Agreed. I also add, but don't try to force it, because people catch on someone who's trying to be overly funny, who's trying to just force being funny. Just be natural.
People who know how to have fun tend to be
Yes.
funnier.
Yeah.
I actually spend a lot of time with comedians, and I find there's comedians, and then there's other people who are trying to prove to other people that they're clever, and they think that they're doing it, and they're not. They're just pushing too hard.
It's a big problem in the geek world.
So I'm hoping that this show is proof that I'm funny. So that was cheese. That was absolute cheese and self gratification on that one. Thank you for allowing me to gratify. That's kind of bad.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We got Denny Leger is saying here, you don't have to make clever jokes all the time, but if you laugh at yourself and your foibles, you can seem more charming. Yes, admitting
Yes.
to your foibles is definitely a charming thing. Rubbing other people's their nose in your foibles. How much did I have to drink? All right.
And if you have to say, well, it was just a joke, it wasn't.
It
It
wasn't.
wasn't.
Can I point out this there was a brilliant article that was in Canadian papers first. It was a research group. Research. It was two student reporters did an article, and they investigated the connection in Canada to what was it called? Stormfront, which is an American-based ultra right website, white nationalist website. And the recruiting tactics that they have aiming at young boys ages like 5 to 11, and they basically what they do is they start introducing like little kind of comments. They make fun of triggered. They make fun of women, and they just it's a subtle subtext in a lot of the stuff they're doing. And then if somebody gets offended, then they're basically taught to say, oh well, it's just a joke. And at that point, it's not just a joke. It's programming into making them see humans, to see women or to see people of color as less than human or less than them. And if they can't take the joke, then they're not in the club. They're not as intelligent as these kids are. So these kids are being taught that they're more intelligent because they know what these jokes are, even though what they don't realize is these jokes are teaching them to be defensive on these people who are pointing out rightfully that is offensive. And and that kind of gravitates and pushes them more to these alt-right and these incel type groups. And that has been picked up by the Washington Post, has been picked up by the New York Times. This is a couple of years older, years ago that this article came out, and I think it was a brilliant piece of journalism that was done by two students in Montreal. It was fantastic that they did it, and it's just to be aware. If you hear somebody saying, "Well, that's just a joke," they don't even realize that they've been brainwashed at that point. So you need to ask, well, why was it funny? If somebody tells you that was just a joke, well, why? What? Could you tell me why it was funny? Where was the funny in that? And then you can get them to confront the things, and and maybe stop them being a fan of Jordan Peterson or somebody of that nature. Just because.
If it's safe, I mean, sometimes the safe thing is to laugh and walk away.
Yeah.
Yes, keep up your safety. But the thing is, these people are lost unless we attempt to educate. And I don't want to put the onus on everybody out there, but as a society, we can't make it an us versus them. We need to reach out to. I'm ending this on a very fucking serious note.
It ends when you say it ends.
Yeah, it's true. I'm seeing if any more questions come in, but at the same time, as a society, we need to educate each other. We need to confront these people, these agents of division. So not confront is probably the wrong word. We need to challenge them to kind of explain themselves, and when they hear themselves say it out loud, right, you can catch them in the thing where they go, "Oh, hold it, I am actually being hateful." Right, and because most people, no one ever assumes that they are a villain. Darth Vader didn't even think he was a fucking villain after killing all the fucking younglings. Right, he didn't think of himself as a villain. All right, Misty Porch goes, asking why someone is funny or as an insult is always a great way to challenge people's beliefs, and it works every time. Thank you, Misty, for backing me up on that one. But yeah, challenge people on why did you think that was funny, and hopefully you can get an honest discussion with somebody that will help them evaluate their point of view.
Playing dumb can be fun. I do bimbo
Yes.
play and just be like,
Yes.
I don't get it. What is that about? Why is that funny? You gotta tell me.
Spell it out for me, please. Spell it out for me.
Yes.
All right, we have no new questions are in. We've been here for over an hour. You've been fantastic. All these people have been here. My lovely guests. We got Liz, Lucky Albatross, the amazing Cherry Topp. Get my hand over there, cupping bear parts.
I will miss you, Cherry.
There we are. Well, I'm going to miss you on Saturday as well, Cherry. But we're going to see everybody again, I'm sure. Evlit, have a wonderful evening, all. Remember, I love you all. Cheers. Good night. I'm the Love Doctor, and this has been the Love Doctor live stream. Good night.